Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and get ready for TOK vlog number 3, where I am identifying and exploring the ethical implications of hedonism on the plot and characters in the Disney movie Coco. Hey guys, so while you're watching this video and analyzing the ethical implications with me, I need you to realize how important it is that Disney producers are actually putting this sort of ethical implication into a movie for viewers to see. That just shows us how strong hedonism, the ability and desire to only have pleasure for yourself and to derive it in any way possible, is seen through all ages in this movie. It's not just children, it's seen through ancestors and older people. Really notice that while you watch this and look at the background, because it's super important and it's just showing how hedonism is playing a huge role in society today and everywhere, even in our very own Disney movie. The movie Coco focuses on the Hispanic holiday Dia de los Muertos. The movie begins with past ancestors, Mama Imelda and her husband, who are quickly torn apart by music as her husband left her family to pursue his career and never returned. Therefore, Mama Imelda bans music and rips his face off of the family portrait, and that specific picture is put on the family ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos for multiple decades. Years later, Miguel is born, the great-grandson of Coco, and loves music, desires to be a musician, and secretly praises Ernesto de la Cruz. But everyone always tells him,
No music! Miguel, I said no music!
Miguel, no music!
Miguel, no music!
But his passion for music persists, and he figures out that De La Cruz was Coco's father by his guitar and aspires to be just like him. And Miguel leaves his family to go play in the music festival. But as his family figures that out, Coco's daughter, his grandmother, breaks his guitar, and he goes to De La Cruz's memorial area in the grave and attempts to steal that guitar. As Miguel steals the guitar, shiny petals of marigolds are thrown in the air, and he becomes transported to the land of the dead, where he sees all of his relatives attempting to go back to the land of the living for Dia de los Muertos. In order for Miguel to go back to the land of the living, because he would turn into a skeleton if he did not by sunrise, he had to have Mama Imelda's permission with the marigold leaf and abide to her conditions of not having music in his life. However, Miguel was unhappy with this decision and decided that he would go on his own to find Ernesto de la Cruz because he would allow for music in his life, as he was the only person who understood. On his way to find De La Cruz, Miguel found Hector, a guy who was trying to go back to the land of the living for Dia de los Muertos and was disappearing. Then, Hector and Miguel made a promise that if Hector could help Miguel find De La Cruz, then Miguel would put Hector's picture on his ofrenda so that he could come back to the land of the living for Dia de los Muertos. However, something bad happens between Hector and Miguel decides to go by himself to find De La Cruz at the festival. As he finds him at the festival, De La Cruz realizes who Hector is, and when the movie is playing in which De La Cruz stars in, Miguel points out the scene and Hector reveals his true story. Hector and De La Cruz were actually musical partners, and as Hector was leaving, De La Cruz asked Hector to take a drink. In this drink, there was poison. Therefore, in order to steal his songs and his guitar, De La Cruz poisoned Hector, and Hector never got the chance to go back to his daughter Coco. Ernesto de la Cruz realized that Miguel knew the true story about Hector. He threw them in a pit, where they sat there for a long time and realized after comparing pictures that they were family. Miguel was so proud about his true great-grandfather, and then he went back to put his picture back on the ofrenda, and the family was happy and allowed music. Ethical analyzation of the plot of Coco and the characters begins with De La Cruz. He has a hedonist justification for all of his actions. He quotes, "Success does not come for free. You have to do whatever it takes to seize your moment." It becomes revealed that De La Cruz deliberately poisoned and murdered Hector even though they were partners. Then he goes further to seize his moment by stealing Hector's songs and his guitar. Additionally, for Cruz's betterment, he did not take into regard the fact that Hector had a family and was actually taking away a father and a husband from a family as well. Although it was right in his sense, it was wrong as it oppressed many other individuals in the plot. This is a commonality seen with the following characters. For example, Mama Imelda. As Hector never returns home, she develops a strong disliking towards what she believes separated her family, music. Thus, in order to feel satisfaction and closure after her beloved husband left her, she did everything possible to make sure she was content with her life, such as starting a shoe business and passing on the idea that music was a disruptive force in relationships. No one in her family was ever allowed to practice music again because of her experience. This can also be considered altruism, as Mama Imelda chooses to sacrifice music, the one thing she loved the most as well, to ensure that her family members never go through the same breakup she had to. However, this is also considered hedonism, because she believed she had the right to take away something, in this case music, from her family so that she satisfies her inner conscience by not allowing her family to feel that similar pain. Next, Miguel. As a child, Miguel tended to reflect that of a hedonist complex at all times. Although he did not succumb to his family's oppressive nature against music for a while, he created a shrine for Ernesto de la Cruz, stole a guitar, and turned his back against his family for his own sake of performing music because he believed he was a musician. Regardless of his family's opinions, he chose to cut ties with his family to pursue his calling. When Miguel arrives at the land of the dead, he immediately finds his relatives and asks to be transported back with the help of a shiny marigold petal. As a relative has to send him back, Mama Imelda claims that she will only send him back if he agrees to know music. As that does not satisfy his own needs, he runs away from his dead family once again to find Ernesto de la Cruz in the land of the dead, his perceived great-grandfather, because Miguel believes that he will allow him to go back to the land of the living with the condition of practicing music. Miguel also exemplifies hedonism when he leaves behind his dog and Hector, when Hector, someone he made a promise to, decided not to help him find Ernesto. Also, Hector. Upon meeting Miguel and hearing that he has to find Ernesto de la Cruz, Hector lies that he knows Ernesto and the location of his exclusive party so that Miguel can make a promise to put Hector's picture on his ofrenda. As Hector is being forgotten, he took advantage of Miguel's situation to make sure that he would satisfy his needs and stay longer in the land of the dead. Miguel eventually takes the picture and agrees to the promises for his own needs as well, as he needed someone to help him find Ernesto so he could go home and pursue his musical career and satisfy himself as well. Another hedonist complex in the plot of Coco is the living and dead family of Miguel. They also come to Mama Imelda's directions that there should be no music in the family to make sure that she is happy. Although this can seem as altruism, as they sacrifice something from their life to make her happy, they're also saving themselves from the repercussions of going against the tough Mama Imelda. Therefore, as they take their feelings into account first and follow her rules simply out of fear, they display the hedonist complex as they optimize their pleasure and benefits from the situation. Hey guys, so considering all of the ethical implications of hedonism in the movie Coco, seen through the plot and the characters, hedonism is clearly linked to all aspects of society. It's seen in most ethical perspectives in the art world as well. Therefore, the ethical conclusion can be drawn that humans do indeed consider themselves first and attempt to please themselves before pleasing others, or if pleasing others becomes too hard or too overbearing, then they go back to pleasing themselves. Pertaining to the movie and society, this suggests that all stages and ages in life tend to be a reflection of hedonism, and they demonstrate that the hedonist nature we truly are brought up in is seen through all aspects of life, such as independence, protest, culture, religion, anything. Therefore, bringing out the harsh truth that we somehow cannot leave our own conscience and self out of that situation, regardless of the personality or type of person in that situation. Ego and pleasure are to always be satisfied in one manner or another. This is why we can never truly separate ourselves from worldly issues, or even ourselves. Therefore, how can we truly ever separate ourselves from our own hedonistic nature? And what are the negative and positive implications of this close to impossible disassociation? Additionally, if the hedonist complex is so prevalent in Disney children movies, and humans can't ever disassociate themselves from their own hedonist complex, are their decisions ever ethically sound if self-involvement and pleasure are always prioritized? Thanks for listening, guys. Come back to check out TOK vlog number 4, coming to you probably in the next month.
Aye, aye, aye!